of Sistas in STEM. It is sistasinSTEM.org, a platform to empower women of color in STEM. I'm a mechanical engineer. It's very rare to find a black woman mechanical engineer in this space. Actually, when I graduated, I was the only black woman in my mechanical engineering graduation, so it's pretty rare. So when I was in college, I was in the National Society of Black Engineers, and I made all of my friends through there. We were family, but we didn't really go beyond that space. We wanted to stretch out and see who else was in STEM, so we created Sistas in STEM. I was the original president of the organization at the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign, U of I. And now I'm expanding it to reach many more people because I know that it can impact so many more than just the people on campus. So here we are. It's a space for everyone, and I have been able to connect with so many lovely people. Here is my lovely panel over here. I'll let them introduce themselves. Start with you.
Yeah. Okay, I'm Athenia Montgomery. I am a nurse by background. I also have I have a bachelor's in marketing, a bachelor's in nursing, a master's in nursing leadership, and an MBA. So I think when we talk about STEM, we don't always think about the healthcare aspect of STEM, and so I was very pleased to be invited to this panel and talk a little bit more about what we see as far as diversity in the healthcare field. In nursing, we tend to see a lot of women, right? But then when we look at women of color, and we look at the higher you go, when you start to look at healthcare leadership positions, you start to lose that diversity of women, and especially that diversity of black women in healthcare leadership. So that's something that I have been working on impacting. So I am also the founder of the ICANN Collective, which is an organization for diverse entrepreneurs to connect, to learn from each other, and to build resources and networks that allow us to impact our legacy of generational wealth. So that's what I'm all about, and I can't wait to talk more to you about it.
Man, I'm on a panel with dope people. So excited. Well, I'm a nerd and entrepreneur, so I kind of accidentally fell into it after working in the luxury real estate industry for a while. So I have a company called Sugar Gamers, and the reason I created it was because I was always a gamer, my brothers were gamers, and I was a gamer at the time when that did not garner me any friends at all. It did not make me a cool person. So what people don't realize about video games is that it is STEM. There are technical aspects to video games, and if we have the conversation, especially in our community with our young girls and young boys of color, it's a $1 billion industry. $1 billion industry that very few of us are a part of, and that astonishes me. Like, I've been doing this for 9 years, and just having the conversation about just tech advocacy and tech literacy, just to get people to understand that even learning about video game design still sets you up to have transferable skills in other tech industries. Anyway, so that's what I do with Sugar Gamers. I also run a digital marketing agency called The Blaze Breakers, and sometimes I do some public speaking. So. Oh, my name is Keisha Howard.
And I will piggyback. Anytime you guys have a question, definitely, fill on in. So just like you did.
Hi everyone, my name is Jamila Parham, and I am the founder of the Tech Unicorn brand. So I started out in STEM doing computer graphics and animation design and coding. So I too, like video games, it wasn't very popular to major in video gaming. I felt myself being the only black woman in this class and a lot of hurdles in the way. So that led to the birth of the Tech Unicorn brand, which I call unicornism, which means succeeding in an industry that is actually set up for you to fail, and that you actually flourish. So I created a community, a brand for mentorship, partners, and programs. Being from the South Side of Chicago, when I went into coding, there were little to no resources, and I was a coding student with no PC. So I was in labs, I was in tutoring, so there were a number of hurdles that I want to make easier for our youth. And one of my mentors, and what I want to share with you today is, in this room we are underrepresented, but we also have to keep in mind those who are underserved. So those are the folks back in our community. We are the branches, but we have to worry about the roots and closing the gap that way. So a lot of what my brand focuses on is working with, students and teachers and building programming to get them interested in STEM and also show them positive role models.
Hello, everyone. I'm honored to be here. Wow, I'm still tripping over seeing this right here. This is amazing because I've been in tech 15 plus years and this is rare. And I'm glad, Athena's doing some amazing things. I just met some of these young women, but hopefully I can continue to participate and push this because women in STEM is very important. We need that. It's some very intelligent women out here that can make these things happen. And I think it's it's basically a stigma in this industry that whatever it is that women are capable of doing some of the things or all of the things that these men can do or better. I know women engineers who are much better than some men engineers. So let me go back to who I am. My name is George Powell. I'm the founder of a company called Easy Beauty. Basically, it's a platform. I created the platform to help African American beauty brands connect with African American independent stylists, because that channel is really it's really segregated. So the platform really connects the product, directly with the independent stylists. On the flip side, over 70% of the contractors I work with are Black women in STEM. So from graphic designers to programmers, I'm hopefully I can use this platform as a gateway into STEM for African American or just women in general to come into STEM and see what it's all about. So that's who I am. I guess you can ask me more questions. I'm not going to take up too much of your time, but any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you.
Thank you, you guys. I'm going to jump right on in. So, as you guys know, we're here to discuss working in Wakanda. Can you imagine how amazing that would be? Just with the technology alone that they have there with their vibranium and the smarts that they have going on in that country, it would be amazing. They got melanin flowing everywhere, everyone's treated as equals, but we don't have that here. It's not the same. It's a completely different system structure. We're not as technologically advanced as they are, but we're trying to get there. I want to make sure that we touch on a few of the issues we've faced working in the STEM industry and brainstorm how we can overcome those issues, how we can change the culture together. So I want to kick it off by asking, have you ever felt diminished in your career as a woman because of your gender in general? So, George, you can weigh in too.
I think it's two layers to it, right? Being African American in general in STEM is challenging, and then to add another level of or layer with gender when it comes to women, that adds just another obstacle to be involved. Me myself, yes, I've experienced it all my life, and still experience it to this day, which kind of pushed me to really go out and build a platform that I can control and maneuver and bring people in. But yeah, it is challenging. Some of the challenges that I face really revolve around promotions. You do a lot of work. I'll give you an example that I just won. I won't name companies or anything like that, but I created a system for a large company that pretty much, I'm sure everybody in this room goes into and out of every day to get some your convenience items. I created a system and a program for this company and saved them $15 million. And when I came up for a promotion, I was denied the role. They gave it to someone else and wanted me to train the person. So at that point, that's what initiated Easy Beauty. I got up out of there and I did my thing. So yeah, it's definitely challenging, and I'll pass the mic to somebody else.
It's a number of hurdles that we face, just being Black, and I am a woman leader, I am an IT leader, and I lead one of the largest smart city programs in the world. And that didn't happen overnight. Initially when I went out with graphic design and went for my first job after school, we had a final portfolio that we had to present. And just to put it in perspective, 3 of us graduating, doing the same portfolio, and there was one gentleman who was a colonizer, so he didn't come to class as much, and he asked us to help him, me and my friend. And, just being the people that we are, we helped him, and then we went in for that first job. It was a boys club, and we walked in green, and he walked out with the job, and we helped him with his portfolio. And I'm like, oh, wait, this doesn't add up. So that was kind of like, my first, I experienced all my life being from the south side of Chicago, but that was the first corporate introduction to that, and noticing that how that can really shrink you. So I think it's upon us to build everyone up and support them, whether they're in the organization, in entrepreneurship, to create those opportunities, and then also to create that exposure. So that was the birth of the Tech Unicorn brand. There's been times that I've walked in the room as the IT leader, and they assumed that I was an intern. And I said, no, I'm here to lead this project, and a successful project at that. And they just, oh my God, you are a unicorn. Like, we've never seen a Black woman in tech. And I said, oh, well, you're gonna see a lot more of us then. And that was the birth of the Tech Unicorn. It doesn't have to be in tech, but that's just all of us, that the industry is not set up for us to succeed, but we succeed anyway because of what we face. So that's what I just wanna do, is make sure that I empower everyone, use my platform. I love working with the youth, but I think that's critical to share those stories and how to overcome them through mentorship. And if you see someone struggling, trying to make their way to help them. So that's just a little bit about my experience.
I think my experience is I almost had Stockholm syndrome. That's the one where you're just so accustomed to being abused that you don't notice it anymore. So I just, all my life, and I was raised by my grandmother, so she already had a story to tell me about what it meant to be a Black woman. And that, oh, you just need to go get you a good job, keep your head down, get those benefits. And, when I expressed interest in arts or, things that are a little bit more creative, it frightened her. She's like, oh man, you're not gonna make any money. I want you to be able to take care of yourself, so on and so forth. Just, her vision for me was to work in an office for some white man and just climb the corporate ladder and just keep my head down and be liked and be promoted. And so I never thought of myself with significant value for a long time, because that was, and my grandmother meant no harm. She wanted to keep me safe. But I didn't have a sense of my own value, my own power, my own, aptitude to learn things or to be places until I was 27. And that's when I did Sugar Gamers, and I fell into entrepreneurship completely by accident. So, and being an entrepreneur, it teaches you your own value, because when people are just like, hey, we need what you're doing, it not only is it about the money or the social responsibility, but you then become responsible for your sisters and brothers out there. Like me being in the video game industry, people find me super quick. They're just like, I typed Black women in video games and I found you. And it's nice to hear that, but it's also sort of terrifying, because I am representing so many of us in this space. And it's scary. I'm glad that I get to be a representative, but like it's lonely. So, you know, to the challenges, it's just like having value, having responsibility. It's not just like, you know, in Wakanda, what really struck me was the family, the camaraderie, the support, the collaboration. Like no one is alone. No one has to like strike out into like the unknown, trying to figure it out, just being hopeful. And it's not just like, oh, you know, the white people are keeping us down. Like our own community has to, you know, be empowering one another. And so the struggle when you're doing something that's not common, especially for women in STEM, for Black women in STEM, is full circle sometimes. So that's been some of my challenges, but the good news is as I grow and as I mature and as I keep doing this consistently, the value and the power that I feel like I have in this space also increases. So
To piggyback on that, I think what you're saying is representation matters. And that's so true, right? We have to see ourselves and see what we aspire to in other people. So, yeah, I think, you know, so back in the day, I won't say how long ago, when I was 15 years old, I was in a coding class at University of Chicago. And like now I realize it at the time, I mean, I was the only girl. And like, I didn't even think about it back then because we talk so much about it now. And it's like, I was that, you know, kid who loved computers. I always did. I liked to build websites, loved to code. And when something was there, I just ran to go get it. And that's been my thing with everything. I run to go get it. If I want it, I go get it. And I don't realize, I think I'm starting to realize it more now, how much I think I feel I have to show up in order to get what I need. I have to really, really, really show up. So I overachieve. I'm always overachieving, I'm pushing to get where I want to go. And I don't think that that's everybody's reality, right? But that's been a reality for me for my entire life. So feeling diminished in my career, I think yes, in that people who are doing less will achieve more, but counteracting that by pushing past those feelings, like you said, of inadequacy, imposter syndrome, right? I had to sit down and think about that the other day, and I'm like, yeah, I have that sometimes. Like, you know, who are you to think that you can do this? Who are you to think that? So I have to get that next, you know, level of education, that next certification, that next, to prove to who? Because you know that you can do it, right? Who are we proving it to? But we feel that way because it's a societal burden. And like you said, when you are able to Google yourself or people Google you, like, oh, I found you, you know, you did this great thing. And it's like, oh my God, heavy is the burden. So I think it is. I also was a part of this program for nurse leaders. And once again, there were two of us, two Black women out of the entire state of Illinois. They picked the top nursing professionals and two of us. It's not true. There are not just two of us, right? There are more. But what do we do to push past that? How do we prove that we can compete on those levels and become surety and become, you know, how do we do that? So I think that is a constant thing in the back of my mind, and what, when I speak to youth and connect with youth, what I'm always trying to do, allow them to know how valuable they are, how strong they are, and how much we bring to the table. Yes.
Go.
I wanted to ask real quick, how do you feel about connecting with not just youth, but older Black women in nursing? Because my mother is a registered nurse, she's an RBSN. We actually dated with Nigeria, and we got our bachelor's degrees the same year. And I don't even know that my mother knows and recognizes how much her leadership role, being a charge nurse, being working in the nursing field for so long, and she's close to retirement, but there's still an impact she made. And I think that's a big deal across the board, that there's a disconnect between the generations within the field of nursing. For people to understand each other and let the lessons keep being passed on. So how do you think you would address that problem or start to put those questions out there?
I'm glad you asked that because we're sisters because my mom is a nurse, and she's from Ghana, we're from Nigeria, we're from Wakanda, right? But yes, it's much to what you said, again, on getting a job, putting your head down, and just doing, right? And it's like you're not a leader in your role, you're just there, but after you've been doing something for 30 to 40 years, you are a leader. And that's another thing, and I think that's generational, and it's cultural, because my mom has been doing it forever. Everything I've learned from her. My dad's a nurse too, and you know, they feel like they're just doing, right? They go to work, save some lives. It's like, that's just what we do. I'm working. And giving her that confidence, and I love working with everybody, every generation, but I sincerely love older adults because there's so much life after a certain age that we don't always recognize. There are people today in their 50s and 60s who are now learning about this tech world. Entrepreneurial journeys are starting after retirement, and I think that is so powerful. That's another reason why I started the ICANN Collective, because people were retiring, learning that they can still be valuable. Like, it's not, your job isn't the only thing that defines you. There's so much more, there's so many layers to what you can give the world. So yes, I think connecting with people at all ages, you know, it starts when we're young, but it continues when we're older. And then for some, even that age of like late 20s to early 30s, where you're still trying to find who you are, and you know, you got that cool job right after graduating college, and then you don't have it, and it's like, am I still important? So I think at every stage in our life, there's a journey and a process. And so yes, I definitely like connecting. And my mom, she always like tells people at work what I do, and like they look me up and they're like, oh my God, how do you do that? And I, you know, cause like we sometimes don't know. So definitely, I think at every generation there is power.
Did you still have your question?
Oh, it was a statement because your competition
Yes. That would help.
You were speaking about when you went for the competition as a nurse and it went to you guys. Well, you guys are already starting, because if you prepare people to go into it, then you will have more people go up the ladder. Because it's kind of like you have to come outside of that to go into it. So that's all I'm saying.
That's true. That's true. Thank you.
I was gonna say on what Jamila had said, if you, a lot of people think if you have two resumes, neither of them have names, but you just compare both of them together, you won't really be able to tell who's who. So here is your friend coming in there who you helped with his proposal or portfolio, and yours probably looks just the same, but the person walking in the room looks completely different. So that plays a role into it all. I wanted to ask you guys, have you ever seen your work being downplayed because you're a woman or because of your gender, or have you ever noticed that of another a woman's work being downplayed? And what have you done?
Oh, I have a story. So, you know, and you know what? I probably didn't even notice this until just recently. Like in the last 2 years, I've like been becoming angry. So I'm just like, what the freak, man? Like, you know, like the idea of black excellence has been drilled in my head. Black excellence, you gotta work hard because you gotta do, and it's twice as much work to just get, you know, just be right. And it's like, you know, Athenia was just talking about just doing and working, and like as black women, especially black women in an industry like this, like yeah, that sounds cool, but that isn't healthy after a while. It's just like we're not workhorses. Like that's not what we were born and created to do. And like the society has like kind of put that burden on us, and we keep that burden on ourselves anyways. So like in the last couple of years, I've been like, I've worked so hard. I've been working since I was 14 years old. I've like raised a kid that wasn't mine, my little brother, I love him now. And all this stuff, and so then finally, I'm just like, you know what? I deserve to like at least be, what do you call it? Recognized for some of the work, right? So I met this wealthy guy, and he inherited all his wealth. He inherited millions of dollars from his father, and he wanted to be able to talk to college students about his experience. And immediately, exactly, I see your face back there. That's exactly how I felt. And I was just like, wait a minute, you know, like just because I don't come from that, that doesn't mean that I shouldn't learn what it means to have the burden of a legacy. What does it mean to inherit wealth? Like, I can't just immediately be like, you can't say nothing to me. But I wanted to, but I'm just like, no. And so then I did all this research, and it's basically I went back to school, I talked to all these DePaul professors, and I learned about the statistics about what it means to inherit wealth and some of the psychological issues that comes with like not making your own money. Our world revolves around money so hard, we never think about like what's it like on the other side sometimes. Anyways, so I put together this whole event at DePaul, invited all the DePaul students, introduced this dude to the teachers, blah, 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 right? So all the people that were on this planning committee that I created were all white guys. And at the end of a successful panel, they all congratulated each other. And I'm just like standing there like, what is happening here? And for the first time, I'm just like, wow, this is real. This is happening right in front of my face. Every one of these dudes know I did all this work. And they're sitting like, yeah, if it weren't for you, man, this event would have never happened. And I'm just like, wow, this is what we're dealing with in real life. Luckily, an ally was just like, hey guys, no, Keisha deserves a round of applause or whatever, because I was about to go off. But my point is, it's like, it made me think about all the times where I just accepted it, where I was just too afraid to speak up for myself. Like, well, this is just the way the world works, you know, like if I speak up, they're gonna think I'm angry black woman, they're gonna think I'm an emotional female, they're gonna think that I'm like taking it too seriously or taking it the wrong way, or oh, they were just joking and I didn't get the joke, so you know, and it's just like, yeah, we gotta quit taking that. like it's again, Stockholm syndrome. Like I've been so accustomed, like my whole 20s, so accustomed to just believing that this is the way the world works, and I don't deserve more. Because like the little bit I get, I should be grateful for it, right? You know, I should be so grateful. And like we have to stop doing that. We have to not only acknowledge each other, but like really understand that the values that are in our community. And like STEM is so new, but the awesome part about STEM is like, yeah, school is important, but you can learn STEM whenever you want. Like, we ain't in card catalog, Dewey Decimal System anymore. We have Google and YouTube. Like, I have no empathy for the high school kids that I teach. They're like, I don't know. Like, you have your phone. I saw you on it. There's no excuses. Anyways, I'm sorry.
So being a woman of color, being an IT leader, I found myself asking for things and folks ignoring me, you know. So I think over time, being a leader, I had to find my own voice, and that I'm very type A, and it's okay to be a little stern and have expectations of respect. So I've learned to speak up, and a lot of times people like audiences, when you're leading meetings, they like to ask you those questions, well, why are we doing this? This doesn't make sense. But I've learned that, you know, we can address this and resolve this one-on-one. Sometimes you have to take it one-on-one and address it and say, you know, I've noticed that you question that. I would like to know why, or do you have some reasons behind that, and to just throw that out there. Because I think that, you know, some folks do want to sabotage you with an audience, you know, looking on. But, you know, over time, you learn to walk in your truth. Of course, I felt, you know, I'm walking in this room, they're going to look, oh, here goes another angry black woman, but I can't let what they project on me be my truth, you know? So I think we just have to embrace that we can't let society determine what we are. So yes, I'm an IT leader. Yes, this is what I expect, and I'm not going to diminish myself because of that. So that's just been my experience.
I'm pretty young in my career, so my first interaction with that was when I was in my internship. They gave me a project. They were like, okay, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna develop the process all on your own. You've got this. I'm like, cool, this is amazing. I went into the planning process, had to get involved with a few other engineers on the team, and one guy, he was reluctant to join the project, but when he finally did, he got really focused on it. He was like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that, and he would start doing things and completely keep me out of the loop. And I'm like, wait, this is my project. What are you doing? I would be sitting at my desk typing, and there was a key to the workshop. He would just come, grab the key, and then go. And he was going with people that we could be potential buyers into the project and stuff. And I'm like, were you ever gonna tell me about this? What's going on? Me being young, I wasn't sure what to do, so all I did was just go to my manager and tell him, hey, I'm not really comfortable in this situation, because not only did he keep me out of the loop of things that are supposed to be my project that I'm leading, he didn't really speak to me in a respectful way either. He just belittled everything that I was doing. It was just like I was insignificant on the project, and it was basically his. And it ended up becoming his. They had to come up with a completely new project for me to do, because that man was just so stronghold on the project and wasn't letting go. Yeah, so that was really my first run-in with it. It wasn't comfortable. Did you have something to add?
Diminished.
Downplayed. Having your work downplayed in the field or anywhere. Have you ever noticed someone's work being downplayed?
Well, yeah. The one thing that I've noticed, so it was a position that there was a promotion that came up, and the good old boy got the promotion, and myself and two other women were talking about it, and one was an Indian American woman, and the other was a white American woman, and we were talking about, oh my gosh, if he got that, we probably should have, applied. Because all of us, right? We sat there and didn't apply for it, and then like, how he get it? Because he applied, because he has that kind of confidence that a lot of us are lacking. But then
the confidence of a mediocre white man.
Yeah, pretty much. And so one of the girls was like, right, because we're not qualified for it, right? And I'm like, wait, what? Wait, and do we have to? Says who? Like, why would you even say that? And it just goes back to, it's not always coming from other communities, right? As women, we're downplaying ourselves. As people of color, we're downplaying ourselves sometimes. It's our own insecurities, our own lack of confidence, and our own support of each other sometimes. So, like, if each of us had went for it, maybe we could say at the end, he got it because of who he was. But we can't even say that definitively, right? Because we didn't go for it. So that's the other half of that. So that's all I wanted to add.
Have you guys ever felt threatened by a woman raising higher in rank than you? Maybe even just like on the sense of a man feeling like, oh, this woman got the promotion instead of me, and that's not a good friend. Yeah.
I guess that's for me. Absolutely not. I come from a tribe of women, so you just gotta get used to that. I come from a tribe of very strong women. My mom has 7 sisters, so, and 2 brothers. So when family outings are in play, you gotta take a back seat. They're in charge, right? But as far as the work environment, no. I had one of my first mentors was a woman. So, the way I approach things, I kind of don't break things up too much into genders, because I think, that just adds another layer of complexity to moving forward. So when I seek out people, I seek out people for their knowledge, their understanding, their experience. So, my first mentor was a VP at a pretty big company, and just seeing how she handled things, how she approached things. I'll give you an example. And I think this is why we can learn from each other, and I think this is why both men and women need to like work together, because it's two different perspectives. Like when they was talking about being diminished, I hear a lot of your stories, a lot of my female colleagues, and you know, as an ally, I just try to be an ally to them, to help them navigate, because I, you know, coming from that side, I understand it. I see it happening. So it's up to me to try to make a difference, to say, hey, this is how you approach this situation. Because a lot of times, you know, when speaking to women, they do feel a little bit insecure about addressing the issue. You know, like, how do I talk to this person? This person is so aggressive, and there's a way to do it, and I always give them that advice. But the story I was going to tell you about my mentor was you know, I envied her in a way where, and I had to grow into this person, but she taught me how to be passive aggressive, and I would say that. Because, you know, as a man, you're taught to be, you know, strong, and you got to assert yourself. You got to do it, you know, and basically we were in a huge meeting with all these directors, and it was this one guy. He was like King Macho. Like, he was like, we're gonna do it this way, we're gonna do it this way. He was cursing. I don't care what you say. Now she's in charge, but and this guy was he was like her. He was ranked lower than her, right? And I was just like, I can't believe this guy is like saying this to this VP. And just the fact that he had, you know, the gall to like talk to her like that, and she sat back and she let him spew and spit everything out. And when it was all said and done, she was like, look, thank you for all that, but we're still gonna do it my way. and when I saw that, I was like, wow. Because I was just like a spectator, right? So I was like, wow, that was powerful. I mean, just the power in being reserved and letting that person, you know, be aggressive. And at the end of the day, you know, how does that really affect you? It really doesn't. You know, you can't give that, you know, you can't allow people to give, you know, have that much control over your reaction or how you're gonna react to a situation. So she taught me that. So, you know, do I have a problem? No, absolutely not. I just reached out to a woman Friday, about some advice. So I'm always looking and seeking, not as from a gender perspective, but more from an experience, like what can I learn from this person? So that's what I'm hoping that, you know, this whole theme of Wakanda, right? You talk about equality, men and women. That's why I try to break, that's why I'm here, because I want to be an ally. And not just an ally, but just to say, hey, we face the same problems. You know, we do. Like, men and women of color face the same exact problems. I mean, does it really, from a gender perspective? No, absolutely. I can tell you right now, I face some of the same problems they face, and I still face them today. So my job here is to say, okay, how can I be an ally, and how can we, you know, come together and overcome some of these obstacles and challenges together? So I guess that's my answer.
I love that, because I think sometimes we forget about the men, right? That right now is a time of women empowerment, which is great, it's awesome, but we also have men. So like, to talk about what you say, we face the same problem. So like, if a woman is worried about how she's dressed, right? A black man in a hoodie is worried about how he's dressed. So those types of things, there are so many similarities in our struggles.
On the back end of the beauty industry, do you come across many women? Because, you know, we see them in the salons, we're on the front end of doing everything, but on the back end, on the tech side of it all, do you really see many?
No, and that's why, again, you know, one of my missions behind creating Easy Beauty is to give women a platform, women in the beauty industry, and a platform or avenue to come into a leadership position in the industry. Because the beauty industry is controlled by white men, but it's supported by black women. So, right? So again, you know, I'm trying to figure out a way to say, hey, how can I create a platform that you can use, but also you can grow into a leadership position and learn about STEM, learn about sales, learn about sales channels, learn about distribution, learn about, you know, product, how to create products, actually. So all this information is really kept kind of secret. So, you know, I'm just like, hey, here it is. Like, if someone comes to me like, George, can you help me? I'm trying to figure out how to navigate, how to create a product. Sure. Here you go. Here's the piece, here's the contacts, here's the things you should do, here's some advice. And I give it to them because when they go to other places, they're shut down. I'm mentoring a young lady right now who's creating a beauty startup, and I'm helping her navigate some of the same issues that we're talking about as far as getting information. But yes, the industry is all, I would say, 90% women, and it's controlled by like 5% men. So, yeah.
We know that STEM is a male-dominated field. How do you ladies feel like you've broken barriers that have been placed before you?
I mean, you know that they're there. So it's like, you know, the thing is, to me, it's the same as anything extraordinary that you want to do. So say you're a young woman and you're just like, I want to be Beyonce. You know, like, how hard is that going to be? There's going to be competition. You're going to have to be creative and authentic and unique and dynamic and extraordinary. Like, you have to do that in pretty much any field that you want to be exceptionally successful in. STEM is just no different from that. Being a black woman in STEM has both been challenging and outrageously awesome. Because I walk into a room like, I'm here, y'all need me, I'm not going anywhere. Like, there's no more of me, so what are you guys gonna do, Tim, Bob? Like, come on. So, you know, I know what it's gonna be. I know that there's gonna be challenges. So, you know, for any of us that expect, you know, to be rewarded for, you know, our efforts, we have to expect some of these difficulties. To that point, like, the challenges for me is not like just busted into the room like I'm here. Like, I already know what that comes with. It's more so when I'm coming back to my community. So, like, just last year, 2017, I went to this high school, and this young girl looks at me. She was like, I've never seen a black woman in video games. I'm just like, what? For real? It's 2017. And like, I had to like call all my friends. I'm like, there's other black women in video games, right? And they're just like, you kind of, right? Like the one that had, you know, is it? And I'm just like, nah, really? So like, for me, the challenges of like making sure I bring everyone else along. I don't want to just be successful by myself. I want to be successful with all my sisters and brothers. I want to be successful with everybody. And like, that means educating not only myself, but my community and like the challenges that come with that. I'm like, hey guys, the video game industry is $1 billion industry. Let's all go get jobs there. But it's not that easy. You know, this is, you know, like exceptionally emotionally challenging for me. Like, again, like just talking to younger black women. I'm just like, so what do you want to do when you grow up? I want to be a nail technician. I'm just like, okay. Then I'll ask another young lady, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a model, and I want to make clothes. I'm just like, none of these things are inherently wrong, but what kind of conversations are we having with each other? What kind of conversations are we having with our kids? We are behind, not so much in that, you know, like, oh man, the you know, white man is keeping us down. We're not deconstructing these industries for our youth so they can understand how they fit in, right? Like, when we talk about STEM, they're just like, oh, I don't want to solve math problems. I'm not good at equations. And so then I have to like deconstruct it. Like, so what kind of skills you think you need to make a video game? You like coding? And I'm like, that's true. But there's coding, there's programming, there's video game music, there's writing, there's designing the characters, there's understanding game mechanics, there's 3D modeling, there's animation, there's marketing. If no one knows about your game, there's storytelling. Like, there's so many different components. And it's like, you still are working in tech. If you're working at this huge, if you're working at Activision or Ubisoft, people are like, oh, that's that tech company that makes video games. It doesn't matter if you're coding and programming or you're coding and programming adjacent. A coder needs their team. They can't just code a thing that doesn't go anywhere. And like, if you don't explain this to kids, they don't think that they have a place in the tech world because they're so busy looking at Lil Uzi Vert and wanting to be like him because that's our representation. We don't have our own Elon Musk and Bill Gates and Tim Cooks and Richard Bransons. We got Beyonce. We got, every once in a while, like once or twice a decade, we'll get a Michelle Obama type person or Oprah, but we get way more Cardi B's and Rihanna's than we do Michelle Obamas and Oprah's. My point is, like, the challenge for me isn't myself, it's making sure that I bring, everyone else along and like understand that responsibility and understand what that means. And that's terrifying for me.
That's exactly what I'm trying to do with Sistas in STEM. SistasInSTEM.org for those of you that missed it. I want to create a new era of role models because, like you said, we don't have Elon Musk in our community and we don't have a Bill Gates in our community that we can look up to. We're looking up to jobs as nail technicians and models and, I want to be Instagram famous. Of course, that's my ultimate goal. But no, you need to rethink different areas of where you have your passion at and see women who are real women doing this in regular today. You don't get to see that, and it's not presented in the media. And I want to create a new media outlet for that to be shown. So that's the essence of Sistas in STEM. Sorry, go ahead.
And I think on the other side of that, there may be an Elon Musk out there in our community. We just don't know it. And that's the power of social media. He might be missing, or she might be missing the resources, the know-how. And that's where we come in as Wakanda to build this up. Like, okay, you got the idea, let's go ahead and do it. And then part of tech and being in STEM, you don't have to do that hands-on work. Some people are just innovating, just throwing ideas out there. Let's do this and maybe do that. And you have a whole team to help you build that. Like, that's the misconception of being in STEM. And the thing for me about being from the south side of Chicago and being the west side, seeing our youth, like, they're lost. And then seeing how startled these teachers are, like, I look at when I speak with them and I, consult with them, these teachers are like, I don't know what to do. Like, I want to get my students exposed, and that's where we come in using our platforms. It's not about me, it's not about the taking the form, but it's about exposing that, yes, you can do this. And like Keisha said, you don't have to know how to code, but you can come in and maybe do the art design. There's different levels to it. So I think if we use all of our resources, everything and band together, that we can create, the next wave of, innovation and technologies. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
And to pick it, okay, go ahead.
Can I say something, ask a question? I'm super excited that you guys are here. The reason I came specifically to this session is because I am a college counselor in high school. So these are the conversations I'm having every day, right, with my students. And so at our school, we have a women in STEM. And then we had another council that created a black women in STEM because some of the girls were facing some other issues in their science classes and stuff like that. So one of the things that came to my mind is public education is what it is. That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, that we need a whole day panels.
But one of the things that came to my mind is, one, when you talk about deconstructing all of these fields, my teammate and I, we spent a ton of time on this. We're Gen Xers, so we're not millennials and we didn't grow up in this space, but we're constantly trying to help a lot of our students that are going awry because school is boring or they're not making the connection, the content isn't relevant, whatever it is. They can do this stuff. They're interested in this stuff, but teachers aren't making connections for whatever reason. No judgment, just the fact. They're not making the connections, and so having these one-on-one conversations with our students to say, hey, have you seen, a Brittany, a Jamila, or, a Keisha have you seen them? And so I'm excited to hear that you all are doing all of this stuff to make your presence known and to make your work shine, because our kids need to see that. The other thing I want to say too is, what can we as a community do, just a regular old person every day, what can we do to support some of your stuff? Because I'll be honest and tell you, one of my largest frustrations is working with parents, and I'm just being honest. I am a parent, but when we talk about how we talk down, or we belittle the opportunity before us, a lot of the antagonist behavior I get is from Black moms in particular. A lot of Black parents don't know about this in particular. Now, there are many who do, but there are some who don't understand how this can fit. It's what your grandmother said: get a job, make some decent money, find somewhere to live. So how can we get across to parents in a very non-threatening way, i.e. I'm a parent and don't know about this science, but I want my child to know about it? How can we communicate to them that this is where our kids need to be?
So that's a really great question. Before I decided to go into real estate, I was studying psychology. I was studying psychology even in high school. I was fascinated with it. And I decided not to go into it because I didn't want to be beholden to how the medical industry works. Anyways, parents and kids, I use the same tactics on them because I have a class called Intro to Futurism. So I go in and I deconstruct different things, but I don't teach. I use the Socratic method. So that way, it's not ever my idea. It's not ever my idea. You can't get mad at me because I asked you what your idea was, and now we're talking about that. So basically, it always is with the students and with parents that I talk to. Hi, what do you want to do in the next 5 years? What you like? And they'll be like, I like, when they tell me that they want to be a nail technician, oh, believe me, my heart breaks inside, but my face stays the same. Because I already know, what I'm going to have to do to connect what they're saying to something that could be their idea. So, and it's the same thing with parents. It's what do you want for your child? Just start off with the questions. Start off with some major questions, and then take their ideas and lead them to the solution. But then the solution will be theirs, so they're not defensive. So for example, with the student, I can give you an example. It's all right, you want to be a nail technician. Did you know that there's a machine that was created 5 years ago? I saw it myself at CES. You can just put your hand in there and it paints your nails for you. By the time you graduate from college, that'll probably be consumer friendly. Every nail salon will probably have one of those. So man, think about how we won't need nail technicians anymore. So have you ever thought about owning your own nail salons? Because those machines will be out. So how would you brand that? And so then they're like, oh, I didn't know that. Could you show me? And blah, 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 blah. And then it's their idea that they're gonna own a chain of nail salons. They can break free from this limitation of thought, because now they have that additional information. I didn't say that's dumb. I want to say it. Don't get me wrong. I want to say that, but I know how devastating that can be if that's your limit of you think your pinnacle of how you see yourself, and I'm just oof. So I take the idea, no matter how crazy it is, and just bring it to a point where we both can talk about their idea. And I just think that that's a really good way to dispel defensiveness, because now it's not one person's idea against another person's idea. You're already listening, you're already interested, you're already asking questions, and you're calm and accepting of whatever it is that is said, and then you take their statement and be okay, I heard that you are trying to do this for your child, but did you know that these things exist, and that could probably even help your child even more? And I don't know. That's the method I use.
Yeah. The counselor in me does that. I just need to specify when we're talking about this STEM stuff.
Yeah.
how to help them understand big pieces like automation and stuff. Because what you're talking about is automation and how it totally affects the job market. And so, like you said, what we're thinking about today may not even exist in 5 years. So with the hair, easy beauty, we don't have to just stand in the salon. How do we on the back end help our students see some of these other opportunities? I appreciate that. Thank you.
And I'll just say, you know, to your point, it's tough because it's such a learning curve. I know when I was younger, I'm like, I'm gonna be the cool parent who knows everything, and now I got 3 kids, and I'm like, little Uzi Bird. I don't know, man. I don't know the song. I don't know.
Lil Uzi Vert.
So it's like even learning for yourself what some of those things are, learning about easy beauty, bringing in people like George to talk about it, because like, you know, to Keisha's point, it's not the nail technician that's the issue. It's how that's going to evolve and what that looks like in the future, because, you know, it's not that, you know, you want to be a model that's so much the issue, is how that evolved. Because Keisha introduced me to a digital model I had no clue about. They are creating models online at a whole nother level, right? So like,
Can I just say what it is? So, I'm sorry. So I'm looking at some video games. I have to express this to you just in case y'all don't know, because we in Wakanda. And, okay, so we in Wakanda. Be real quick, not take up too much time. So there's this engine, Unreal Engine. It's like really amazing software, right? And basically, there's this chick, and she could just wear another person and walk around in real time and talk to you as a synthetic human. Google it. Synthetic human. Her name is Siren. Just Google Siren Unreal. You can barely tell she is a computer-generated image. So just think how scary that is for a second. Like, the way we consume news and media, the way we just are so emotionally reactive now, because some lady said this and she was white, or some man said this and, you know, he was black, or whatever. And like, that can be a computer-generated image created to divide us. And we try to be models. I'm like, girl, a gremlin could like wear this contraption and be a beautiful model. We don't need the humans to wear the clothes. What's the model name?
digital? Yeah, she's like
There's-
gorgeous.
Oh my God, black models are out. There's a Hispanic, Michaela, I think is one of the models.
Michaela's, yeah.
And I can't remember the black model name, but these,
She's gorgeous.
look it up.
She looks better than everybody.
Okay, I'm sorry. I stop. But look it up. I'm telling you, it's creepy. And if your kid want to be a model, just show them this.
We're being replaced.
Yes.
So any notes of empowerment that you want to leave with everyone who is just trying to navigate this space? That's the main thing about Sistas in STEM. We want to empower everyone. So what a few nuggets of empowerment you guys may have?
I'll give one to your point. I think we as a community, we have to control the narrative. I think that's one of the big issues is we allow other sources to control our narrative, like giving us the information. We're always seeking or going outside of our community and wanting to get advice, when all of the information, a lot of it is in our own communities. Coming to Wakanda Fest is one. Like information, my young brother always says this, information runs the nation. So it's like coming to, Afinia has amazing platforms. She has Jamila has an amazing platform. And all we have to do is think, if we just participate. I think that's the biggest problem, is we don't participate. And we just need to keep pushing forward and having these different platforms and discussions to control our narrative. Because, you know, I control my narrative, I control his narrative. You know, I'm raising a nerd, I'm not gonna lie. Like, we're on tinker.com last night programming. And these are the things as parents, as part of my community, that I can do for that's immediately, you know, my responsibility. But I always come out and I always try to talk to other young men and women about the different resources that they can use and plug into to get the information they need. So that would be my advice is control your narrative. It starts with us, right? We can't depend on Joe Smith, and we control the narrative. It starts at home, and we control that narrative, and we can go out and volunteer, and we can participate in different things. I think we can start making headway. And this new generation of millennials, that's the front line. So.
I would say it's great to come to these things and get information, and we have the conversations, we feel good in the moment, but I think that it's a challenge to be actionable. You know, what do we do with this information? If every person in this room did one thing to impact one person or get them the opportunity, what would that mean for everyone? So I think even if you start small, it's something. You know, from my perspective, there was a young lady that I mentored, and she was interested in UX design, and I used my own personal network resources. You know what? Here it is. She's like, oh, I don't want to do front end. That is just disgusting. Like, it's just whack. And, you know, and she shared with her classmates, and she helped another young lady, and it's just like, you never know who you impact and how they can empower. I touched one person, and she touched 5. And, you know, what does that mean? So I would say be actionable, have the conversations, get the resources, but what are you going to do with it?
Good afternoon, everybody.
I would just say, like, educate yourself, deconstruct everything. Like, every piece of information you hear has at least 4 or 5 different components to it. Nothing comes as a whole, and instead of taking things at face value, we need to constantly be engaged in deconstructing them and understanding its parts. And that way we can see how we fit into it, and we can explain to our kids how we fit into it. Like, deconstruction is so important because it goes from, again, buying a game for $60, oh, this is so much fun, but how did that game get into that store? Why is that game $60? Why are there 100 people on the game development team? How long did it take to make that game? Who made it? Where was it made? Who are these people? How much money did it cost? How much money did they get paid? Like, all these questions are the way we establish a conversation about how to build what we own, how to build a Wakanda. You know, like, we're talking about Wakanda, but what's Wakanda made out of? Like, yeah, we got the vibranium. How did their political system work? How did their community work? Who is in charge of what? How do they get their food? You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to, like, think about deconstructing everything.
Because we got a vibranium, for sure. Got the talent, so we can make it happen.
Yeah, and I think really quickly, just support, like everyone said, I'm gonna stop talking about Lil Uzi Vert and Lil Yachty, but as much as I love the Ratchet, they have 500,000 followers, and a video will get 5 million views. But if you put this on the internet, we won't share it. We won't talk about it. We won't say anything. Support isn't always monetary, right? Yeah. It's talking about it. It's spreading it. It's, just sharing the knowledge and coming out to things like this and taking part and not saying, oh, I can't do it, that's too expensive, it's too inconvenient, it's too this, it's too that, but I can go spend $400 on a concert ticket to see something that's going to last me in that moment. And then what else? And what next? So I think that's my biggest thing, supporting each other. When I learned about these wonderful folks, I just support. If I have something going on, I pull. I'm like, hey, guess what? This thing called WakandaCon is here. We gotta do it. Like that type of thing. So I think we gotta keep doing that for each other.
And on the note of support, please support Sistas in STEM. We need you guys. So sistasinSTEM.org is where you can find all of the blog posts. We share stories of women of color in STEM, advice. It's a big melting pot. I want you to be able to connect with real people. I also post motivation and all the latest updates on the Sistas in STEM. It is on Instagram, it's on Twitter, Facebook, everything you want to see, you can find it there. I love connecting with different people. If you ever want to connect with me, you can email me at heysis@sistasinstem.org. My name is Brittany Mariki. You can find me at Brittany A. Joy on Instagram, Twitter, and all that good stuff. I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves as well. But I wanted to let you guys know that Sistas in STEM is having our first event. It was an amazing thing that we can come here to WakandaCon, because I literally reached out to the WakandaCon team saying, can I get on your STEM panel? And they're like, why jump on one when you can have your own? And here we go. I didn't know how this was going to come to fruition, but I connected with these lovely people, and it is happening. So I'm really glad you guys came out. Sistas in STEM, having our event called Uncommon Denominators. As we already mentioned, it's very uncommon to find women of color in the STEM space. So we want to bring all of them together to have a, not just your stuffy professional event where you can just go and, you know, network, which is always fun. We love doing those things, but we want to connect that unprofessionalness to a lit brunch. You know, you guys have your day parties and everything, but we want to just have a little touch of our unprofessional side with the brunch part, and then just, and just bring it all together to just have a brunch celebrating women of color in STEM. It is going to be on Sunday, September 16th at 12 p.m. at Persona Lounge. And if you are interested in sponsoring, we are looking for people to sponsor the event as well. Tickets are available now. You can go on sistasinSTEM.org/uncommon. So you can go on there, check out different information about the event, and then also look into buying the tickets too. And I hope to see you guys there. You can follow these people at
The ICANcollective.com, VinyaMontgomery.com, and any of those things at any social media.
I'm just at Sugar Gamers on everything.
At Jamila Parham on everything, the Tech Unicorn brand.
And I'm at George L. Powell and at Keith Beauty Pro.
Yes. And this has been Sistas in STEM, working in Wakanda, embracing gender equality in STEM. Thank you so much, you guys.